it's an absolute honor of mine to introduce our speaker, Brianna Borin. She's the SVP of People at Snooze, an AM eatery. If you haven't eaten at Snooze, I'd be shocked if you live in Denver and you haven't eaten there, but I guess I wouldn't. It's okay. It's a treat. You should check it out. It's a delicious breakfast place that's expanded, maybe not all over the country. Brianna might tell us exactly the details, but it's got 47 different stores, I believe, or restaurants around the country, something like that. Brianna and I have some great history together, and I've always admired her in a number of different ways. So I picked five. I put them on the slide. There's so many more beyond this, but Brianna is truly a people builder. Everything she does is about propelling people to the next level. She's also a culture crafter inside of Snooze and beyond throughout Denver. I call her a pancake slinger because it sounded fun, but I think it's pretty cool that she's helped build this restaurant, which is all about, of course, taking good care of people and doing so during the breakfast meal. She's also a community servant. She's donating a ton of her time to improve Denver at large and make each community that she has a chance to be a part of better than it was when she got there. So she's always adding value everywhere I've seen her interacting. Someone in the LinkedIn, what is it, like the referral, the references in Brianna's LinkedIn profile says that she has the Midas touch. She has the Midas touch, which I think is the perfect way to put it. And she's an absolute force of nature. She's a mighty human being, and I cannot think of a better person to share her take on the topic of matriarchy. So to the stage, I would like to welcome, if everybody can come off mute, give Brianna Borin a big welcome and applause.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that so much. That's going to be my new bio, just 5 bullet points, force of nature. No, it's awesome. I'm Dave. I'm just honored to be here with the Creative Mornings community. This is my first time to Creative Mornings. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but I'm just so grateful. I can already feel such incredible energy in this community. It's super special, and I feel grateful for the opportunity to share with everyone today. And Dave, I also want to say thank you to Creative Mornings for creating a space to really talk about women, and not just how women are rising, and not just how we're making waves, but how we always have been, making waves under the surface, quietly and confidently, and for hundreds and thousands of years. And you said at the beginning, this month is about talking about the unsung heroes, right? The people behind the scenes. And most often, that is women, right? It is women underneath, kind of building and holding up the foundation of everything that we see in our lives. So I'm just excited to talk about that today. I have so many thoughts, and in preparing for today, I had so many moments of reflection. In fact, I called Dave and I said, man, I've got so many thoughts on this, like where do I want to go? And I think some were more difficult than others, quite frankly. When looking at all of the historical content around matriarchies, I was just fascinated by the incredible stories of women, but also quickly reminded that the world through the eyes of history is built for men. And that was real. And that really, in these readings really lit my feminist fire, I would say. And I kept getting caught in this kind of men and women and matriarch and patriarch, and how do those two things really work together? And it was challenging. And I think many women on the screen today would probably agree that sometimes you end up in that space where it's the her versus the him, and how we think about that. But as I thought a lot more about it, and I really asked the people around me how they thought about it, there was one kind of idea, that I felt most comfortable with. And that idea was to let her shine. Let all of the beautiful, the wonderful, the strong, the thoughtful, the empathetic, the warm, the emotional, the generous ways of women shine. So what we're going to talk about today is how we let them shine, and how we let them show up in our worlds different than we have seen in the past. We're going to take a cool journey through matriarchy. We're going to settle in and reflect a lot on what matriarch means to us as individuals and in our lives. And we're going to talk about the past the present and the future of matriarchy. You're going to hear a little bit more about my story. I'll try not to give you the 14-year rundown of Snooze, but I'll give you a little bit of my story and the incredible career that I've had and been able to shine within while serving pancakes. And I do sling pancakes. We are short-staffed, so I sling pancakes 2 weekends ago. So I am still slinging pancakes, Dave, for sure. So, and ultimately, I'm going to have one ask from everyone in the group today. So let's just do it. Let's dive right in. So here we go. This is your modern workplace. This is the modern world. At the helm, there is a man. And yes, usually they are white-skinned and gray-haired. They are leading a whole generation of women. They're guiding them with their wisdom within a patriarchal society. And what history has taught us is that the world was built to be ran by men, and that women walk behind them. They do not walk in front of them. They do not walk beside them, but they walk behind them. This is a matriarchy where women hold the power, the property, the purpose, and they are the providers. This is pretty foreign to us because there are only 6 modern societies in the world that are currently a matriarchy and have the matrilineal heritage to them. Only 6, which just totally blows my mind. This is the world that women dream of. This is my feminist coming out strong. This is a women-owned company full and packed of incredible women who are leading each other. They're supporting each other. They're inspiring one another. They're lifting one another up. And this world does seem beautiful. But let's face it, 2 hours of 100 women in a room only is good for 2 hours. And in all reality, although this looks beautiful to many women, this is just not the reality of what we have today. And then there's this. In my eyes, this is a world where women and men show up together, where they stand together equally, bringing their true and full selves to the workplace and to our lives. Men and women were not created equal. We were created very different, quite frankly, with different anatomies, different brains, different skill sets, different traits, and truly different intentions. Men and women should always be treated equally, but they are not equals. And what would it look like if we all showed up together, letting all of the things that make us different actually shine? And what if the world had equal patriarchies as it does matriarchies? What would that be like? And I believe that if we show up together, recognizing and celebrating each other, that we have a chance to live in a world that we would all be really proud of. So together, we are going through the next 30 minutes together. It is not men and women. We are one together. And as we think about this concept of matriarchy, let's take that journey together. So here we go. I'm asking you to settle in. Close your eyes. We are talking about matriarchs. I'm going to guide you through just a couple of quick thoughts. And I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes and take a journey with me. Imagine yourself as a young child, say 7 or 8. Imagine you are in your family home and you are at the dining room table. The kitchen is full next to you. Your favorite meal is being prepared, and the smell, the feeling of that favorite meal is filling your senses. There's laughter in the room. There's love in the room. And you feel a big hug, a hug full of warmth that fills you up. And you hear the words, "I love you." Hold right there. Now imagine the face of the person that just said, "I love you." What is the color of their hair? the sound of their voice. What is that person wearing? Now open your eyes. And if you could, please put the name of that person or whatever you call them, mom, grandma, sister, friend, whoever you pictured in that visioning exercise, please write it in the chat. I see a lot of moms, a lot of stepdads, or not a lot of stepdads, but a stepdad. Thank you, Britt. Nanas, our aunts, Mamala. Lots of moms, just as I expected. So what I asked you to envision is your family matriarch. We have them. Whether you know it or not, you have matriarchs in your own family. And they're all around you, either growing up or in your lives now, or in Olive's space right now on her lap. We have them. We have lots of matriarchs. I want to introduce you to two of my matriarchs. I thought of them in the same way that all of you did. The very first one is my Mutti, which stands for grandmother in German, but really matriarch is the same. Mutti should just be matriarch in German, because this is Paula Borin. She is one of my family matriarchs and certainly one of the people that I visioned while doing that exercise. Paulette passed away just a handful of years ago at the age of 94, and she was most certainly the family matriarch. Paulette survived the Holocaust and fled from Austria when she was 14 years old by herself. She ended up in the US at 14, no family, no friends, no partner, and somehow she was able to create an incredible life for herself. She quickly met my grandfather at the age of 16, and at the age of 18, she was married to him. And a few short years later, she would be having her fourth child, who is my father. So Paulette is a mother of four and an amazing one at that. She worked full-time, ran a nonprofit while her children were growing up. She made dinner every single night for her family. And she took, of course, great care for her loved ones beyond just her four children. When she was 70 years old, Paulette went back to college and graduated with her bachelor's degree in history. And when she was 83, she got bat mitzvahed in front of the synagogue for the first time in her life. She is unbelievable. She swam every single day. She volunteered 6 days a week. And leading up to her illness, of which she passed, she would call me every day and tell me that she loved me. So when I think about Mutti, she is, in my world, a true matriarch. Then you have this woman who is my mother. Just as many of you put mom up on that screen, we have matriarchs every single day in our lives. And whether it is your mom or your father who plays that role, or an aunt or a grandmother, they play a big matriarchal role in our lives. This is Dr. Carol Fisher, my mother. She was the one always making my favorite meal in that visioning exercise, the one who hugs me, the one who would send a text or call me every day and say, "Have I told you how much I love you today?" That's my mom. She's the oldest of 7 children. I grew up in a small town in Wyoming. She was one of the very first students in the medical school at the University of Wyoming. She is currently a family doctor in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and cares for hundreds and hundreds of patients within the community. She's one of the only AIDS doctors in the entire state of Wyoming, and continues to be just a leading professional as it relates to women in medicine. She is a servant of her community. She runs the local synagogue, the only one in the state, of course, but she runs the local synagogue and also volunteers multiple times a week. She is fierce, she is opinionated, and she is bold, but she is kind, she is loving, she's caring, she's empathetic, and most importantly, she is wise. She is my matriarch. No matter who you call family, we have them. And as you leave today, I encourage you to call them and remind them of their matriarchal qualities and how incredibly important those are to your life, or write about them. If they're not here today, write about them, journal about them, and remind yourself and celebrate the qualities that these women or these matriarchs in your lives bring to the table. So there's a family matriarch. That's the first matriarch I'd like us to think about today. I'm going to ask you one more time to close your eyes. We're going to discover another matriarch. Take one more journey together. This time you are not at home. You are in a room full of people, mostly women. You are at a concert or a TED Talk. You are at a gallery talk or a presidential inauguration. You are hearing a loud, passionate, strong, confident female's voice. You're feeling a little tingly. You're overcome with emotion. You feel inspired. You are on your tiptoes, ready to rise up. Your body is fully engaged. Hold for a second. Take a deep breath. What do you see? Where are you? Who is speaking to you? Whose voice did you just hear? That passionate, strong voice. And who is inspiring you? If you could take a moment to write that in the chat, please. The person inspiring you, the modern matriarch. Amanda Gorman, AOC, Amber Brown, Brene Brown, all the way. Your mentor. That's amazing, Britt. Thank you. Hillary, Michelle, Kamala. Fantastic. A lot of those are mine too. And those are what we call the modern matriarchs. There are a lot of them. And wherever you were kind of thinking about that space, whether you were, as I said, at TED Talk or a concert or watching Amanda Gorman at the inauguration, it's inspiring. They are all around us. And they get recognition. They do get acknowledged. But there are so many modern matriarchs in the world that don't get any recognition at all. But let's talk about a few. So here's our first one, Angela Merkel, the boring politic, they call her, right? But one of the most incredible individuals in the world, one of the most powerful women in the world. The German chancellor leads with all of the characteristics of a matriarch, and her boring politics have been an incredible force on the whole world. And I often say, man, if we had more Angela Merkels in the world, this would be a better place. What about this lady, Kamala Harris, the first female vice president who is shattering glass for all of us, for young women all over the world, and for all of us here on the call. Excited to see her continue to thrive and to continue to break the glass ceiling for all of us. What about Ellen, man? Ellen. She just fills my heart. Matriarch or not, I would follow Ellen right off a bridge, and I know that I would be laughing the entire way. Does not surprise me that generous is in her last name. She is one of the most incredibly generous humans. And if you ever have a bad day, just watch an Ellen clip on Instagram or Facebook, and you are good to go. And then the Obamas, and Michelle of all, the powerful, positive force for good that she is, telling her story, becoming the first Black female first lady, and truly, in my eyes, redefining what being a first lady actually means. And then you have Melinda Gates. However you feel about the Gates, she is a woman of service. She is sharing incredible traits with the world. She is giving back, and more recently, she is showing up for herself, which is an awesome and powerful voice for us to have in the modern world. I know I've got Brene Brown fans, and if you don't know this name, you should. Men and women alike all over the world are being influenced by Brene Brown. She is one of my favorites. She's capturing the powerful and meaningful ways of empathy, of vulnerability, of bravery, and of trust. And she is helping a lot of us show up differently in the workplace. And I'll talk about her a little bit as we move forward, but really just an incredible force of nature. And then lastly, there is the one and only Beyonce Knowles, the fierce, the fabulous, the talented woman that we all gasp in awe when we see her living her best life. Not to mention, she served us a big glass of lemonade when she showed us about her relationship and her marriage and how she was going to show up in a patriarchal society. She's fierce, and she is fierce and fabulous, and someone that when I see her, I'm like, ooh, that's where I'm going right there. So a little bit of Beyonce. And what all of you probably didn't think about, but still very, very important to mention, is the Minangkabau society in West Sumatra, Indonesia. These are women of one of the 6 modern matriarchies in the world. Yes, only one of 6. There are only 6 in the world. And this is one of them. This is just an incredibly beautiful picture of what matriarchy looks like in today's society. Just because our matriarchies aren't, that there's only 6 of them and we don't have a lot to look up to, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. And these incredibly beautiful women are leading a society, and they are living what a true matriarchy is every day. So there are incredible examples for us out there. There's just not many, but this is one. And when I think about all of these modern matriarchs, they have one thing in common, that every single one of them shines. They shine so bright that we all watch them, we all listen to them, we all follow them, and we all are inspired by them. So whoever you put up in the chat, ask yourself, does that person shine? And if they shine, how do we truly help more women shine? Then there is a third type of matriarchy. And when Dave called me and said, Bree, I want you to talk about the theme matriarchy and being a matriarch. And I said, Dave, you're crazy. Like, I don't know anything about being a matriarch. What are you talking about? And he said, Bree, you are a matriarch in the making. And I will never forget that conversation, Dave. I've never, ever thought about myself that way. But when you take a step back and you think about yourself, all of the women on the call, you are, if you're not already a matriarch, you are a matriarch in the making. So this is me, and the picture on the left is hilarious. And the reason I say that is because I was clearly made to be a matriarch long before I knew it. This is me protecting my sister, giving her the biggest hug known to man, huge smile on my face. But I have always been a protector. I have always been a warm hug, a person that just really felt fiercely connected to serving and taking care of people. So this picture really reflects the relationship that I've had with my siblings, the relationship I have with my friends, my husband, certainly in my workplace. And then this is me today. I am wearing a Snooze shirt because let's face it, 14 years of my life have been spent serving pancakes, and it's a huge part of my matriarch identity. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and why Dave would think about me as it relates to the word matriarch. And I hope that, through sharing just a couple of my examples and my thoughts around the idea of matriarch and how my story has played out within Snooze and within my other community work, that you too can find the matriarch in making in you. So Let's see, here's Snooze. And before I get there, I'll just give you a quick background. I started in the restaurant business when I was 15 years old. Loved the art of serving people. I just felt like serving people was what I was meant to do in the world. And it showed up in so many different ways in my life throughout middle school, throughout high school. And when I started working in restaurants, I got incredible joy and incredible energy from truly serving people. And quite frankly, I felt like it was the only thing I was good at. My siblings played sports and did music, and I worked in restaurants, but I loved it. And I was happy, and I was excited every single day to go to school and to rush to the restaurant to serve people. And it was finding my calling at a very young age. I studied hotel and restaurant management at the University of Denver, started in Las Vegas and transferred to the University of Denver. And in my my junior year of college at the University of Denver, I had an amazing opportunity to travel to Switzerland and live in Switzerland for about 9 months and studied at an international hospitality school. And although I don't need to talk about my study abroad experience, what's really important about this is that I learned the essence of what hospitality is so different than many have the opportunity to. Across the world, hospitality is a career that many work their whole lives to get into. Running a hotel or owning your own restaurant is just equivalent to being a scientist or being a doctor or being someone that serves the community. And when I was there surrounded by almost 60 different countries, I had 30 different countries in every single one of my courses, I really understood what hospitality truly could be, and that it wasn't yet in the US have that same explanation or that same identity. And so I had a different and unique opportunity to learn hospitality. And when I came back, I struggled with this idea that why didn't this type of hospitality exist in the US? Why was it not celebrated in the same way? And, remember, this is 15 years ago, before the Food Network was cool, and, before breakfast was cool and all of those things. And I had a conversation with a professor, and I just said, I don't know if I'm going to find my place here. Maybe I need to travel abroad. Maybe I need to try something different. And he said, I have a guy. You should meet this guy. And that guy was John Schlegel, who is the founder of Snooze. Him and his brother, Adam, had started Snooze here in downtown Denver. This is the corner of Park Avenue and Larimer, if you've ever been there. The best and worst corner in all the city. But they started this awesome breakfast spot that was really intending to change the way that people thought about breakfast, and not just thinking about breakfast, but the way that people thought about the industry and how people work within the industry and the lives that they can create within the restaurant space. John and I were two peas in a pod. Started with him in February of my junior year, and I have never left. I am more inspired 13 and a half years later than I have been every single day before this. But Snooze is an incredible place. Started in 2006 with this one restaurant here. We have today, we just opened our 48th restaurant at Denver International Airport, which is incredible. We have 48 restaurants across the kind of southern US. We're in California, Orange County, and San Diego, all over the Phoenix Valley. We are 18 restaurants deep in Texas, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are in Atlanta, Georgia, as of last month. We opened our first location in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are in Kansas City. So I have had an incredible pleasure of being a part of one restaurant, Snooze at Larimer, our heart and soul, through the building of 48 restaurants, $150 million company, and one that is just truly paving the way for breakfast. So if you can't tell, I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've done. I'm proud of where we're going to go. But when I think about all of my years at Snooze, there are a couple of things that I'm really proud of, some of which I feel I influenced, some of which are our culture, and some of which just happened naturally. I'm really proud of our pancakes. They are good, Dave. I know you haven't been in a while, but they're good. You're missing out. We do have waffles at one location. We are testing waffles. If you are a waffle person, go to Snooze South Glen. But we're proud of our food. We are a 98% clean menu. It means we have zero, what we call 86 ingredients or not clean ingredients in our food, which is something to be incredibly proud of. We are known for our breakfast cocktails, for our Benedicts, and all the things that you love from your regular brunching days. But behind all of that is an incredible experience. It is people who are passionate about what they do. They love, they care for one another. They are excited to build a career, and they are truly cared for. In the values of our business is the balance between our guest experience and our snoozers or employee experience. That balance is a core value to us. And that means that every single person who joins our family, as we call it, is celebrated. They're celebrated for their uniqueness. They're celebrated for their dreams, their passions, their goals. They're celebrated for their crazy hair and their amazing tattoos. They are asked to show up as their true selves. And within this inclusive environment, we have fostered so many incredible women, like incredible women. We are 58% women and 42% male. We are in our women in our leadership. We are 56% women in our managerial ranks and our leadership ranks. And although that might not mean much to you on the call, our industry in general, restaurants in general and hospitality, is incredibly male driven. There are very few companies out there who have a 50-50 split, and majority it is almost 70% male, 30% women. And certainly in leadership, especially at the executive table, it is 90% male, 10% women. Our environment at Snooze and the values of our environment fostered that of women. It allows us to show up and to be our true selves. And although we are not a matriarchy, we are still led by an incredible man. We do allow the value of women to show up every single day in our workplace. It is core to who we are and continues to be one of the things that I am most proud of. In my career at Snooze, I have been led by a lot of awesome men. On the far right, you see Adam Schlegel and his brother John in the middle, the founders, two of my biggest and most important mentors in my life. They taught me, Adam taught me the value of community and sustainability as it relates to running an amazing business. He also taught me that a business has business decisions to make, regardless of how soft you want to be to people, how empathetic, how attentive you want to be, that you also have to run a business. In the middle is John. John is the founder. John is an incredible, thoughtful man who is the first to be gracious and to show gratitude, but he's also the first to show up and make you think differently and more creatively. Anyone that knows them in the community knows that they are an absolute force for the two of them. The gentleman in the middle is David Barzan. He is our CEO. We call him Old Major, which is his nickname. And he is the leader that I have been learning from. And over the past, I've been working with him for almost 9 years. And he is one of my true, mentors and leaders, and someone that I really, really look up to. He has celebrated me in my leadership. He has allowed me to continue to thrive within the workplace. He has taught me the value of listening, the value of slowing down, and the value of being innovative and pushing forward. In the green shirt, Abe Herrera, the first ever employee at Snooze. He is our head chef at Snooze Ballpark. I often say, and especially in today's conversation, it's relevant. He is the antithesis of a patriarch. He is who I work for every single day. He is someone that I show up for when I wake up and do have a hard day ahead of me. He is who I show up with and for every single day. And he is still with us, our #1 employee, and someone that I am just so proud to spend my time with. And then the lovely lady on the far left is Shelly. If you've ever been to Snooze and seen this person, she is incredible. She brings tons of energy to the workplace and is my kind of partner in crime as it relates to living the values of celebrating women within the workplace. And why am I kind of showing you all these men, right? I think it's really important for me to recognize that I have been led by men and incredible men for the past 14 years of my career. From the time that I started when I was 19 years old till 34 or 33, going on 34, I have been led by men. And I have plenty of women influences in my world. I have my mother, my grandmother, my mother-in-law, who's on the call, who is absolutely amazing. And I've got an incredible network of women that inspire me every day. But these men have shaped me. And over my 14-year career with Snooze, although I'm incredibly proud of everything I've accomplished and creating a workplace where women are celebrated and women thrive, I realized about 2 years ago that I was being shaped by men. I was. And there were times that I would catch myself comparing myself to men leaders, or to more male-driven characteristics or more patriarch characteristics. And it was happening naturally because I cared for these men. They showed me the way. They cared for me. They took care of me and they helped me grow within my leadership. But along the way, I was losing the things that made me me. My empathy, my attentiveness, my thoughtfulness, my warmth, my energy, these things that just really brought out the female in me. And I struggled with that. And when I started to start identifying that, I had to have a conversation with myself. And the one time that I really saw this happen, not named in the picture, is an old COO that we used to have here at Snooze. And I remember one day I was meeting with him and I had gained this nickname back in 2010. I had been with Snooze for about 2 years at the time. And I was sitting down with one of my snoozers and I was working on a coaching session or a development session or something like that. And she said, "You are a mother hen." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And this person said, "You are a mother hen. You are here. You are taking care of us. You are guiding us. You are pointing us in the right direction. You are hugging us. You are keeping us all together. You are the mother hen of Snooze." And that was back in 2010. Mother hen is still my nickname today. But this one day in my career, I was sitting down with my boss and he said, "You know what? I need you to change your nickname." And I said, "What? Like, why would you ask me to change my nickname? Like, it's just mother hen. Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't even matter. It's just a nickname." And he said, "No, you can't be mother hen. If you're going to lead and if you're going to hold people accountable and you're going to be responsible for the leadership of this company, you can't be mother hen. You need to be," he had named, I don't even remember at the time. I was so upset about the comment that I don't even remember the nicknames that he recommended. But I left that day and I changed my nickname. I changed it to, something about training and leadership and coaching, which I was doing at the time. And I changed it. And for a year, I tried to communicate that as my new nickname. And people would say, "Why did you change your nickname? You're mother hen. You're never going to be anything different. Why did you try to change your nickname?" And I would say, "Well, I've been thinking a lot about it. And I'm not sure that mother hen describes who I'm trying to be and who I want to be." And I kept kind of thinking through that. And a year later, I changed it back. And that was the moment in time for me where I said, I cannot change who I am. I cannot mute the things that I bring to this world. I cannot mute the things that I bring to the workplace. And to not just the workplace, to my life and to my relationships. So mother hen stayed, it's back. I'm still mother hen today, but it's a really important lesson that I had to learn. And it didn't happen until 2 years ago in my career, 2.5 years ago, which is just crazy to me that it took me that long to recognize that I was being led by men, and really great ones and ones that I love deeply, but that I was being asked to slowly change my matriarchal qualities to patriarchal qualities. And we all know that if you have been in the modern workplace, you know that you are asked all the time to look like a man, to act like a man, to stand like a man, to communicate data like a man, to talk financials like a man, all of those characteristics that we are constantly coached on about how you show up in the executive at the executive table, how you prepare a presentation for the CEO, who, by the way, 90% of the time is a man, right? And all of those things, we don't even recognize that they're ways of transforming us into the society that is the patriarchal system. So I, over the past 2 years, have spent a lot of time grappling with that. And I have, since then, had many conversations with those who I lead, many conversations with my coach, my professional coach, around how do I show up in the workplace in a way that allows my strengths as a female and as a woman to shine. I have started talking about this almost every day. I feel like every day. We started a women's leadership group at Snooze, and we have brought on all of our female leaders into a conversation around how do we not only allow your strengths that you have as a woman to shine within our workplace every single day, how do we actually enhance those? So we started doing a ton of work. We brought in a Brene Brown facilitator, and we have done a ton of work on daring greatly and dare to lead and what it means to be vulnerable and connected and to share emotion in the workplace. We've got some men leaders a little uncomfortable at times when we cry or we show up with a lot of energy around something we care about. And we have started to shape the way that these characteristics show up in the workplace in a way that they can be celebrated. And we talk about it and we acknowledge it in the room and at the table, and we celebrate it every day. So I have spent the past 2 years and plan to spend many, many years to come talking about what it means to be motherhood. Yes, in the context of my career, but truly in the context of what motherly characteristics and female characteristics mean in the workplace and in our lives. So my story is long, and I'm sparing you all of the details. Besides, I show up every day with a true intention of creating a place where men and women are treated equally, but that their strengths and their energy and their vibe and their amazing things that they bring to the workplace are truly celebrated. So that's the quick version. Still serving a lot of pancakes, still serving a lot of amazing cups of coffee and all the things. But behind all of that, behind 48 restaurants, there is an entire group of women lifting up other women. And when I talk about when I talk about matriarchs or when I talk about women leaders, I always get asked the question, who is inspiring you today? Well, here they are. I think someone said Amanda Gorman. She is truly an inspiration to me. Greta Thunberg, who is an incredible activist within the environmental community. These two are young. They are young, but they are matriarchs in the making. They inspire me. They are the generation that I am working towards bringing and living and celebrating, excuse me, bringing them to the forefront of what we do every day. If you are not inspired by that yellow jacket and that red headband, or you don't even know who this person is, just sit and listen to her for 5 minutes. And she will fuel and bring to life everything that is within the matriarch in you. And Greta, holy moly, is she a force for nature? And even if you aren't an environmentalist, she is someone that helps you think about the world in a different place. And I am inspired by these women, the next generation of matriarchs that are to come after me and that are to join us on the journey of becoming a matriarch. I love this quote. And Rosa Parks, she was showing up in this presentation. Even if you didn't think she was, she is showing up. Each person must live their life as a model for others. When you think about the word matriarch, what characteristics do you bring to the table? What characteristics show up when you think about yourself as a matriarch? Even if you don't, like when I said, Dave, I'm not a matriarch, what are you talking about? Even if you don't think you're a matriarch, start thinking about the characteristics that make you a matriarch. And then ultimately live those characteristics every day as a model for those who come after you, for the Amanda Gormans and the Greta Thunbergs, for your daughters, for your nieces, for your students, for those who are watching you. Live the life that you want to and model that for others all the time. It's important, and it's important that men, that you do the same, that you live a life that is a model for others and truly a model for women, not just a model for the men that you're creating in the world or the men that you're bringing up, but also for the women. So I ask this group, what would it be like if we just let her shine? If we just showed up for her? If we just let the strengths and the characteristics of women be celebrated differently or equally to that of men? What if we showed up celebrating all of these incredible things? Love and generosity, thoughtfulness, humility, graciousness and generosity and warmth, affection, inclusivity, a space of safeness, a feeling of being safe, empathy, attentiveness, and the true caregivers that women are every single day. What if you let all the people that Dave talked about at the beginning of this call, all of the nurses and the teachers, the doctors, the scientists, the archaeologists, all of the women who are contributing to the world, what if you brought them to the forefront? You don't have to create a matriarchy. You have to create an equal place for women to shine, as do men. So when you think about these characteristics, they're not wrong. These characteristics are the incredible ways in which women show up in the world and ways in which women can be celebrated. In a lot of ways, we are. A lot of ways we get to live these actions every single day in our lives, but they're often not celebrated. So my ask from this group today, and as you continue through your amazing Friday and into a beautiful weekend, hopefully seeing friends and family, is that you show up like this. And that when you are in a position where you are a leader, both male or female, that you are bringing somebody along with you. Whether it's somebody that looks up to you, somebody that you mentor, somebody that just needs your guidance, that you bring them with you. And that women bring men along with them, and that men bring women along with them too. And that you look to a female in your life today, and you just say thank you for being kind and generous and attentive and thoughtful and warm and creating a sense of safety for you, both men and women. And that as women, we go to the men that support us and do celebrate all of those things about us, and we say thank you for that too. Because those two things together allow the word matriarchy, whether it is in a historical context, a modern context, or in the future context of something we don't even know if we will have a matriarchy someday, it allows that word to have meaning beyond just the idea that the world is not led by women. It means that women can show up every single day with the intention of being the matriarch that they're capable of being. So my ask is just reach out to someone that had all of these characteristics and tell them that and share that with them. And that ultimately we let her shine. Those are my thoughts on matriarchy. I have a million more if you want to engage in any dialogue with Dave and I, as we have previously. There's a million ways that this concept could have been talked about, but I'm honored to share my thoughts and share my energy around this word. So cheers. Thanks, Dave.
Wonderful. Everyone come off mute if you can. Give Brianna the love.